Hi, Diane Davidson here from the Fine Homes Group at Keller Williams with our weekly podcast, Good Deeds Real Estate with a Mission. So I noticed that in our little makeshift studio that this inventory is increasing by the week. Conversely, the single-family home inventory in New Hampshire,
It's not
we
increasing.
might go below 900. We were almost there this morning. It was at 900,
It was
right?
900 this morning. It actually dipped below a week or so ago into the high eights, but it's a problem.
So I know we said this before, but we're on this national call a few times a week, and the company's based out of Phoenix called 72 Sold, and they're talking about their market and techniques and so forth, which are very effective. They're great. But in Phoenix alone, there are over 9,000 single-family homes. So all the things that we hear about with the market is not what's going on here. In Manchester, by the way, again, it's in Manchester, Nashua area, #1 city in the country in the month of January, reported in February, we're recording it in March, hottest market. #1 hottest market for, I think, the 17th time in 22 months.
Yeah.
Part of the list, which I too.
There is a reason for this, and that this popularity has been brought on. It started in 2020. Really, it kind of caught fire because we've always said people like coming here from other parts of the country. There's a lot of good reasons. People like to retire here because of its access to a good airport, access to good health care, affordable housing,
No state income tax.
no sales tax, all those
No
reasons.
state income tax.
No sales tax.
And no state income, yes, exactly. Yep.
So the song remains the same. It's just we've come into a perfect storm where inventory now, if you're going to sell your house this year, now is the time. Because I can't tell you that the prices are going to be the same if we keep seeing interest rates go up and up and up and up. That doesn't mean that they're necessarily going to drop. It just, I can't guarantee it either way, but I do believe that if rates continue to increase, we're going to see a stall in pricing or a retreat in pricing like we've seen in other parts of the country.
So now is the time,
It's definitely the time.
right?
Because on the buy side, if you wait, you pay in mortgage payments if the rates go up. On the sell side, if you wait and the rates go up, you pay in price. So either way, my feeling is if you're going to be moving into a house to buy and selling a house at the same time, just do it.
Yeah.
Take full advantage of the market now as a seller, and you're going to find a house. You're going to find a house to buy.
And as I usually, sorry, I thought you were finished. Were you?
I'm never finished.
Finished enough? Okay, finished enough. And I know these shameless plugs come almost weekly, but we have, in the last few weeks, been able to negotiate successfully on behalf of seller clients to close on their home and stay. In one case, they're moving out of state. They didn't want to leave until their child was out of school this year, so they're staying for, I think, 3 months past the closing, 2 or 3 months past the closing. Another one just yesterday where they're staying till September, closing soon and staying till September. So it is, if people, I think, are a little bit concerned because they think they have no place to go, but when they know sort of where they're headed, we've been very, very adept at negotiating on their behalf to let them stay in shelter in place so that they have time to find their next home. And that's really important.
Yeah.
A really important skill, I should say, that we've been able to apply on behalf of our sellers.
Yeah, and when sellers know that their timing issue does not necessarily have to coincide with their selling issue.
Correct.
And not every agent gets that.
Right. Selling doesn't necessarily mean moving.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
We didn't, did we rented? Oh.
Yeah, we
rented. We were flexible sellers.
We sold and we moved into a rental. I mean, you gotta preach what you believe, right? And then when we found the house and were able to negotiate on the house we were going to move to, we did. But
How we found that house?
We found it because a diligent agent knocked on doors in the neighborhood and said, "We've got buyers who are willing to buy." Let me get to the state numbers because we're limited for time.
Sorry.
So these are the February numbers, Diane. And so year to date, our closed sales are off by 24%. And you say, well, how is that a good market if we're off by 24% in closings? There haven't been enough houses on the market for the buyers to buy. The buyers are still outpacing the sellers that are coming on the market. They're outpacing them anywhere from 1.1 to 2 times the rate of things coming on. Every week we look at this and we go, my goodness, it is not dropping. When that starts to change, maybe we will have seen the market, the demand for housing start to slow. The demand has not slowed up in the state of New Hampshire. So closed sales are off 24% year to date. But here's what that means. Last year at this time, through February, there were 1,570 sales. So this year, there are 1,191. That's where the issue is. There's plenty of demand. If you look at days on market, we are still, days on market year to date are 39 days. Up a little bit, 6 days. But when you look at what that means, it's up about it's a week versus last year at this time. Pending sales are, it looks like they're catching up a little bit. Year to date, pending sales are this predictor of future closings. When something goes under agreement, it pends. 1,460 year to date this year versus 1,500 last year.
Close.
So, and it's close. It's off only a couple of percentage points, but
last year was low though.
last year was a low year on top of it, so it's even lower than last year's low. So I still feel like where we've got 1 month's worth of supply on the market right now, versus last year at this time we had 0.8 of a month. So what does that mean? It's funny, you can play with the statistics because you can say the average days on market, the average supply has increased by 25%, but it's gone from 0.8 of a month to 1 month.
So it's a little bit of sit-around factor.
Yeah.
That we weren't experiencing it last
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
By a week.
Yeah, but you're waiting an extra week.
Yeah.
But here's the really cool thing if you're a property owner looking to sell. Prices are up year to date compared to last year to this year by $20,000. $420 this year versus $400 at this time last year. And there was a recent report put out by I believe the University of New Hampshire. It says that the average amount of equity that homeowners have in the state of New Hampshire is $260,000.
Crazy.
It is the big difference is back in 2010 when the market had completely collapsed everywhere in the country. About 26% of the homeowners were underwater. Right now, that same statistic is 2.1%. There's so much equity that people have nationally, and in New Hampshire, certainly $250,000 in equity, unheard of.
Yep. So when you say underwater, just to explain, are you talking about, and I know the answer, are you talking about less than what they paid or less than their mortgage on the property?
No, when they're underwater, it means that they owe more
than the property is
than
worth.
the property is
Correct.
worth.
So make sure I understood that.
Yeah, you're right, because all these acronyms, people go, was there a flood? Yeah, no, but the cool thing about it is people are sitting on boatloads of equity, and I'm not convinced everybody realizes that.
And how would they find out if they are?
Well, first of all, you need to do an analysis of your equity position, and a good agent at the Fine Homes Group can do that.
What's that you say?
Well, a good agent at the Fine Homes Group.
Redundant.
The condo market is really just is
Echoes.
following. It's sort of following the single family home market. It's pretty much the same. Inventory right now is paramount.
Yep.
We've said it as many different ways for as long as we have, but it is really getting to a point now where, when you have, I think we heard from one of our associates that when she checked this morning, there were 7 houses on the market in the city of Concord.
Yep. 22 in Manchester.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I mean, we've said this before, 115,000 people in the city of Manchester, and there's 22 houses for sale.
Start living together. Co-ops are back. 70s are back.
Cohabitation. So anyway, that's the good news is that if you're looking to sell, you're going to have a fairly easy sale. It doesn't mean that it isn't going to be complex. It just means that you need somebody to guide you through it, and it won't be so hard.
And it's still prepared right, still priced right, because no matter what the demand, no matter how much the demand outstrips the supply, you still have to nail it when it comes to where it's positioned, right?
Yeah, because otherwise, here's what you'd see. the market time wouldn't be ticking up. And there's one other metric that you got to look at as well, and that's the list price to sale price ratio. So keeping in mind that prices are up over last year, but the percentage of list price through the same time last year, through the first 2 months, was 101.6%. So if you put something on for $100,000, you get $101,600. So you get that. This year, the percentage, what do you think it is?
97?
Boy, you're good. It's 98.7.
I was gonna say.
But that's, it's 3 percentage points different. So that is indicative of the fact that, as you always said, we've come into more of a buyer friendly market, even though it's still a seller's market. It's more buyer friendly, which means things are sitting just a little longer, and the list price to sale price ratio has slipped just a little bit.
Yep, and I know I brought this up before, but in having inspections with regard to the buyer-friendly thing, inspections are much more in vogue.
Mhm.
We're happy about that.
Yeah.
Right, and so the days on market can be affected because properties, it's a running tally, right? It might come off the market, go to have an inspection, things don't stay together, comes back on the market. So when it finally closes, it shows more days on market. Do I
Mhm.
have that right?
Yeah.
Okay. And sometimes when there are issues that are brought up or come to light as a result of the inspection, rather than the seller doing work that the buyer requests, or that are safety issues that are necessary, there's a reduction in price or an adjustment in price. And so I think the fact that inspections are much more commonplace, hence that's a demonstration example of buyer friendly, right? I think that has affected our days on market numbers and our list to sale ratio. You can't help it.
Yeah.
You can't help but do that. So I think plays a big part in it.
So, four magic words. Now is the time. This is the spring market. I mean, it is. You need not hear any more information to wonder if you're going to sell this year, whether you should be putting it on the market now.
Yep.
Now's the time.
Agree. Okay.
As always, it's a pleasure.
Oh, I thought you were going to say if we can help you with blah, 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 blah. Okay. And if we can. And a little plug, though, for our scholarship fund, $100. We pledge $100 from each transaction to FHG Gives Back, local scholarships or scholarships to local youth graduating from high school, for technical schools, colleges, universities. And so we are about to start accepting applications, and we'll be awarding them on June 1st, actually. So if you know of anybody that should be applying, please reach out to us. Bill, Diane, Find Homes Group. You find us, and we'll make sure that they're part of the pool. As usual, please subscribe to our YouTube channel or follow us on your favorite podcast platform. Thanks.